Good afternoon. You're watching the news at 1. My name is Nzinga Gupta. Let's take a look at the top stories we're following at this hour. The Hawks say Ajay Gupta is being sought for corruption unrelated to the Estina Dairy Farm case. It's D-Day for prosecutors involved in former President Jacob Zuma's corruption case to decide whether or not to prosecute him. And Public Enterprises Minister Lynn Brown issues a statement saying Eskom misled her. This and more coming up shortly. Let's take a look at your main story. The Hawks have hosted a media briefing on the Estina Dairy Farm investigation. They say Ajay Gupta is not being sought for the project, but is wanted in connection for an unrelated corruption case. For more on this, we crossed our reporter, Crisalda Lewis, in Pretoria. Good afternoon, good afternoon, Crisalda, rather. The Hawks emphasizing that people shouldn't conflate the different legal processes taking place at the moment.
Well, that's right, Nzinga. As that media briefing just concluded, some clarification there from the acting Hawks head, Yolisa Matakata, indicating that, in fact, Mr. Ajay Gupta is not being sought in a corruption case relating to the controversial Estina Dairy Farm project, but, in fact, in an unrelated corruption case. Of course, you'd recall that would come as a result of the sentiments that were shared there by the Police Minister, Fikile Mbalula, where he said that, in fact, he was being sought on corruption charges relating to Estina. So clarification from her on that, and when I asked her a question on whether the Hawks believe that Ajay Gupta is in the country, she says she does not believe he's in the country at this time. She believes that he's elsewhere, but they are in communication with his lawyers at this stage. You'd recall during the course of the week, Ajay Gupta's lawyers did indicate that had shared some sentiments, in fact, saying that they do not believe that there are warrants of arrest for any of their clients, because you must recall that Rudy Krauser is representing not just Ajay Gupta, but as well as Atul and Tony Gupta as well. And essentially at this time, what the lawyers had said was that they were asking the Hawks to provide proof of these warrants of arrests, and the Hawks then responded by saying they were not going to provide that because they believe that that proof should not be handed over to his lawyers. The person who is being sought is Ajay Gupta, and we saw that very same sentiment being reiterated by the acting Hawks head at this press conference here today. They say investigations are still continuing. 5 suspects still outstanding in this matter at the moment. First of all, when she started that briefing, the acting Hawks head also sent condolences relating to the slain policeman in Engcobo in the Eastern Cape. Some clarity that's also coming out of this media briefing at the moment is that those that were taken in for questioning, we now understand, were taken into questioning on an unrelated matter and not to the matter of the slain policeman in that area. Let me bring in the acting Hawks head, Yolisa Matakata, at this time, just for more clarification on that. We do understand, ma'am, you are on your way to Engcobo as we speak. Just clarify for us. We understand there were people who were taken in for questioning, but now we're hearing it is not related to the issue of the slain policeman.
Thank you, Crisalda. It is like that. The suspects or people who were taken in for questioning were not taken in for this incident of the murder of the police, and they were not taken in by the investigation team that is allocated for this matter.
Now, you've been given 72 hours, we understand, for you to apprehend those believed to have been responsible. Are you making any headway? Are there any leads at this stage that might point you in the right direction to a possible arrest?
At this time, we are working with information that is coming through to us that possibly might help us towards a lead to possible arrest, but there's a lot of work that is being done, and I must indicate the team is not sleeping, and there are obviously leads that they're following as they get information. So we're hopeful, and we are really hopeful that within 72 hours we would have made some arrest.
Let's come back to this issue, Matakata, with regard to the ongoing investigations into Estina. Some would quite argue at this point that perhaps the Hawks are pussyfooting, for lack of a better word, around getting Mr. Ajay Gupta's lawyers to hand him over to the authorities. The Hawks are now saying they are in contact. Have you given any deadline for his lawyers to hand him over? Because there has been a to and fro between yourselves and the lawyers who said they're not going to hand him over because they do not believe a warrant of arrest is there.
Let me first clarify there has not been any to and fro. There was one correspondence, and we have now responded to them because they wanted specific information that we would not be able to provide to them. until Mr. Ajay Gupta is presented by them to us so that we can arrest him using the warrant of arrest. And we're not going to even issue that warrant of arrest to the lawyers because we need Mr. Gupta to come down and be arrested.
Have you given them any time frame, ma'am?
May I not respond to that, but may I just say we are awaiting them to present Mr. Gupta anytime soon.
Did they say they would soon?
We are waiting for them to bring him, that's all. We are not having any to and fro with the lawyer. We want them to bring in Mr. Ajay Gupta, and that's all we want from him.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I think we're going to let you go because the acting head of the Hawks did indicate she is on her way to Engcobo in the Eastern Cape. Right away, you could see all the big guns are really being brought in to try and find those responsible for the deaths of those policemen at that police station. And 72 hours, the clock certainly is ticking, but the acting Hawks head does indicate that the police are working non-stop to ensure that those responsible are brought to book. And I guess 72 hours is just a few moments away. And whether the Hawks will be able to apprehend those, they say they're working with quite a number of stakeholders in that province to ensure that those responsible are brought to book.
Criselda Lewis coming to us live there from Pretoria, giving us an update on that briefing that the Hawks just concluded.